Favorite memories about my time here at Bellarmine and a seemingly lifetime supply of thank yous into a 5-minute speech is an impossible task. But here goes nothing. Even prior to coming to Bellarmine as a freshman, there was one word that always seemed to be used in the same sentence as Bellarmine, and that was brotherhood. Now, at first, I always thought it was a bit of a cliche, and I was kind of irritated by the fact that just because we're an all-boys school, we're automatically called the brotherhood. Now, growing up with an older sister, I quickly became envious of those who actually had a brother. So the word brotherhood wasn't something that was to be taken lightly. This past year, I was tasked with writing numerous college acts, and this led to what I can only describe as an aha moment. I started to realize that my story here at Bellarmine has never been about me. My most valued achievements are those I earned as a member of a team, not as an individual. I will never remember my individual grades, test scores, or athletic statistics, but instead, those who worked hard alongside me and the time we shared suffering before ever achieving anything. And as I prepare to leave this place I have become so fond of, I see how lucky I am, because while I came here alone, I leave with many I can honestly call brothers. My time here at Bellarmine has largely revolved around one particular activity, and that, of course, is football. This is where I learned what it truly meant to be a part of a brotherhood. I remember the first time I felt the love and embrace of my brothers, and it is a moment I will never forget. It was after I scored my first varsity touchdown. We were blowing out Piedmont Hills, so I thought of it as an insignificant achievement. But as I headed to the sidelines, Garrett Waller ran up to me and gave me a chest bump. Travis McHugh greeted me with a huge smile and slapped me so hard on the helmet, I'm sure it left me with a mild concussion. And Connor Lambert lifted me over his head, holding me up like a scene from The Lion King. I had done something I thought was meaningless, yet here were 3 older guys I had just met a few months ago, and they were overjoyed to see me succeed. One person in particular pushed us all to become family. Worked us to the point of exhaustion and then some. Not just to make us better athletes, but so we would grow together through adversity. It is funny to think that the person who appeared as a terrifying figure in many of my nightmares became one of the men I admire most today. In the 4 years I've known Coach Amarias, the things he has taught me least about was football. Instead, his greatest lessons taught me how to be a good leader, extremely disciplined, accountable, and dedicated. Lessons of humility, lessons of perseverance, and ultimately, he taught me lessons I hope to teach my children someday. Coach Ammo has many phrases, but the one I've always liked the most is, how do you want to be remembered? It is something that applies more than just athletics. Tim O'Brien put it beautifully in his novel, The Things They Carried, when he wrote, "Stories are for those late hours in the night when you can't remember how you got from where you were to where you are. Stories are for eternity. When memory is erased, there is nothing to remember except the story." And a few short months ago, I made a mistake that jeopardized all the hard work I had put into my story. And I thought it would change how I would be remembered. But even though I made a mistake that let down all my brothers, they never left my side. It was in the wake of this mistake I fell into a cycle of anger and disappointment with myself. As Gary Soto puts it in Buried Onions, I was going back and forth, going nowhere. Unable to move on until about a week or so after I returned from suspension, a familiar face bumped into me and sparked a change. Mr. Taylor, who had never been my counselor, but the overseer of the roller hockey club here at Bellarmine, crossed paths with me, and we exchanged a few words, but he had noticed the change in me. He told me, "Don't let this define you, Dan. Not you." He let me know that his memory of me would not be altered due to what had recently transpired. He helped me formulate my fundamental belief that it is not our mistakes that define us, but how we react and attempt to better ourselves from them that truly matter. And like Citizen Barlow from August Wilson's Gem of the Ocean, I stopped letting my mistakes overcome me and instead focused on the future. Father Sheridan put it so eloquently at an assembly a couple weeks ago when he said, "Bellarmine will never be the place you came to, but the place you go from." The place you go to is all about what you bring with you, knowledge and prior life experiences, while the place you go from is about what you leave behind. I do not know how I will be remembered or what my legacy here will leave, but I do know that I will leave with the utmost respect for this institution and the teachers and staff that have helped me so dearly, and I shall leave with an undying bond with many men I can call my brothers. Thank you.